So how have you been?
I'm okay. One of my good friends passed away unexpectedly
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. But then also I've had a lot of exciting news professionally. So
The yin and the yang.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, well, now that the funeral's done, there's all this good stuff happening. So
Right.
I think I kind of freaked out my therapist. And we can leave this in because, like, obviously for a couple of weeks, I was just like really upset and stressed out because he had been on life support for a little bit. And then it took even though like we all knew, like, without going into too many personal details, like we knew, from the beginning that he wasn't coming back. Yeah. So there was like handling all that and then waiting for his family to plan the funeral and then the funeral's done. So I think like it was important as humans that we have these practices because that's what provides the closure.
I could have a whole episode about this. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I found myself trying to think of like, what are some, like he and I did not have the same musical taste like at all, which again, we'll get into in that episode.
Yeah.
Or as we start talking about the music. So I was like, so what are some songs about like dead friends that I know? And all of them are like by people who I would like spit in their face if I saw them in the street now. So I was like, well, I can't use those as my personal soundtrack right now. The one I landed on was, I think it's the last song on Bleed American by Jimmy Eat World. I can look up the song title, but the refrain is like, may angels lead you in.
Interesting.
And, he is not religious, so this is not like a song that I think would have any particular significance, but also just the idea of like you're singing this song to your loved one and hoping that it's all smooth up there.
Welcome to the Dive Bar Music Club podcast, where the guest hosts drop in and out, but the opinions are always passionate and the playlists loud. It's like Cheers if everyone at the bar had a strong take on 90s alt-rock or a suspicious number of burned CDs. Around our table, you'll find an emerging touring songwriter, a former cult band favorite whose work since then is even more interesting, a portrait photographer with a not-so-secret metal penchant, a record store owner who learned about Swifties the hard way, a retired folk singer who regrets nothing, and a zine maker with more cool music projects than we can count. We're all just here to share what we're currently obsessed with and maybe convince someone that yes, that weird Icelandic synth folk band is worth a listen. Okay, that last one's probably me, Sloane Spencer. It's Dive Bar Music Club. Low-key, high taste, happy hour for music nerds.
Having a fun time this summer doing things a little bit differently with some one-on-one catch-ups. This particular time, I'm looking forward to chatting again with Rachel Colt. It's been a while since we've had a chance to chat, but also a little note on the audio. We are just recording a phone call here, so if the quality is slightly different than our typical episodes, that is what is going on. You don't have to adjust your audio, maybe turn us up a little bit. Anyway, Rachel, holy cow, happy Pride, and holy wow, have you had a lot going on. It has been a while since we've chatted. What's been up with you?
Yeah, well, we could start with some of the good stuff because it is related to Pride.
Always.
So first of all, Rainbow Rodeo, the queer country site and zine that I edit, is running a fundraiser. So I'm just going to plug that right now from the jump.
Yeah, please do.
We're trying to get to 600 subscribers. So as of this recording, we're about 50 people away from that. Trying to increase the number of monthly subscriptions to 500 a month. So basically doubling where it is right now. And the reason for that is because I feel like every time I'm in a good flow with the site and caught up on reviews and all that, something crazy happens in my personal life that turns everything upside down. So it would be really great to be able to hire more people to write things so that most of my responsibility is making sure the site's working. And so that you can all find out about music when it comes out and so that the artists can have some help spreading the word about their music when it comes out and not like a month later.
Definitely. And so I will confess, I am a subscriber and a supporter, but I didn't realize, I thought I already was because I get the emails. And so you had changed some sort of hosting or something quite some time ago at this point. And I didn't realize at that time that I was not subscribed. And so then I was like, oh my God, I feel terrible. But so it's a really, from the user standpoint, it's a really easy process through the link that you have.
Yeah, so I've been using a site called Ghost, similar idea to Substack, which is monthly subscription.
Without the fascist problems?
Yeah, I was going to say, but I chose it specifically because, like, fuck Substack.
For sure.
Like, it always gave me, like, a bad vibe, even from the beginning. And then as more and more came out. And yeah, I think the worst part of all that was Ted Gioia, the famous jazz critic and music writer. He's a wonderful writer, but imagine at this point he makes most of his money off of Substack. And he just keeps writing essays, like, defending it. And I'm like, bro, you don't have to. You could just be on Substack and it's okay. But anyway, Ghost, for anyone who's trying to thinking of starting a newsletter or a blog, and I'm not paid by them. Right. They are a nonprofit, so they're, in theory, there's no motivation to just have shitty people on there who will generate clicks.
Give folks that link so that they can pop over there.
Yeah. So the website is rainbowrodeomag.com, MAG. And then you'll see a little button to subscribe. But yeah, it's a full website. And once I get my act together, there will also be a podcast feed.
Yay!
As well. And then I'll get back to doing the Rainbow Rodeo podcast.
Yay, exciting. So it will be part of the subscription or it will be part of the website or both?
It'll be both. So there will be a special subscriber only feed. And I've been interviewing artists about the songs that made them gay. And that will be a subscriber only project.
What a great premise. I love this.
And then it's been fun. And then, I'll get back to doing like a monthly sort of radio show style podcast about like new music that like queer artists who never got that spotlight the first time around, and what's good right now. So yeah. Awesome. I'm excited to get back into doing that. But again, my personal life keeps doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So
I'm laughing because I'm a gallows humor laugher. So
no, it's totally true. But there's also good stuff happening too. Please subscribe. You can subscribe for like $1 a month if you subscribe right now, or at least until we get up to the 2 goals. You will be able to get a free issue of Rainbow Rodeo #7, which is out right now when you're listening to this, as well as a free T-shirt.
Awesome.
And the Rainbow Rodeo T-shirt is very cool. It's got a little punk rock cowboy with a lasso on it.
I love the artwork that you use. Is there a particular artist that you like to work with?
No, I've been trying to kind of spread that around.
Oh, that's cool. I like that idea.
I think, it
makes everything special so that each time you have something, there's a new take on it.
Yes. So the cover for #7 is gorgeous. There's this artist who does oil paintings named Anthony Hurd. Hurd, who does like a lot of oil paintings of like gay cowboys or cowboys like in drag, or if you're thinking of it as a historical piece, like genderqueer cowboys might be the better way to say that. It's not like they're dressed as drag queens, but like an old style cowboy dancing in the desert in like a skirt, who, you could read as male. Like it's just beautiful work. And I was very grateful that he was willing to take the amount of money I was able to offer him to use the cover. It's another reason to increase our budget.
Absolutely.
So we can pay artists a better rate for their work.
And you've had other stuff going on related to Pride Month as well.
Yes. So for the 4th year in a row, I am the voice, quote unquote, of Sirius XM's channel Country Pride. Here's the exciting announcement that I'm breaking here for the first time. For the past couple of years, Country Pride was just offered for a limited amount of time during June for Pride Month.
Right.
But it is now going to be a permanent channel on Sirius XM.
Oh, this is huge.
I know. I think there are other people who are more plugged into the industry who can like talk more about the implications of like what it means for Sirius XM.
Oh, this is big.
And, like, yes, because Sirius XM, even if you and I don't really listen to it, has like a really specific space within like country music. Right, because especially if you're driving around a lot and driving between states, it's a lot easier to have satellite radio. And so for better or worse, like the artists we love to hate, like Florida Georgia Line, like Morgan Wallen, Zach Bryan, all those douchebags, but like they're famous in part because of streaming, but also because of Sirius XM.
Having been in radio as long as I was, the role that Sirius XM specifically is playing right now is so specific to that. It has absolutely taken over vehicular audio for a certain subsegment. And country is definitely their mainstay. Oh, this is wonderful news. I'm so glad to hear this.
So what that means, for the casual person like me, is there's somebody, the corporate suites at SiriusXM who's saying, you know what, we need to have this be a channel because there's something here.
Absolutely. Oh, this is fabulous. My car came with SiriusXM a million years ago.
Nice.
And so I used it for like the period of time that it was free, and then I didn't subscribe. But I learned after the fact that a couple of times a year, they'd give you like a free week or a free month, which I didn't know. And then also, because this is so outside of my personal listening preferences, but it's incredibly popular. They have an app that many, many, many people listen to because there are additional channels available through the app that are not on the regular car version of your radio. So this may be ancient news to people, but because I'm not enmeshed in the world of SiriusXM anymore, I didn't realize this. So heads up.
Yeah. So I am trying to figure out if it's going to be a channel on the satellite, but the email I got saying that this is happening said it's going to be on anywhere you can stream SiriusXM.
That is fabulous news. Can you share if you'll be associated or affiliated with them in any way?
Yes, I am. I'm going to continue to be the voice. So if you haven't listened to SiriusXM, yeah, thank you. Again, I haven't really done much. It's just, it's very nice to be invited to have the opportunity. But I think like most of the programming, the advocacy to even make the channel, I'm going to shout out Kathleen St. Clair, who is the program director for this channel. And also there's a alternative channel, which I think is sort of like all the artists we like to shout out here. Oh, I didn't realize she's now the program director of The Highway. That's like a big deal because that's where all these new artists and stuff get broken. For better or worse, Morgan Wallen Radio, but you know what? She's about to have a baby, so she better make those big bucks.
Oh man,
that is my opinion, not serious.
Right? That's hilarious.
But yeah, no, that's very much, I'm sure, her and other people within SiriusXM. So the extent of my involvement is that they're sending me little ad reads.
Listen, this is great. Just having, as I said, having been in radio as long as I was, and especially because I come from a corporate radio background, it's just having them make this happen. Now, we all know more than a day late and a dollar short. But the fact that it's happening at all is great because radio, as a rule, is so averse to change. They want softball hits at all times. And just to carry the analogy through on the good things. So maybe they'll be covering women's softball. Anyway, yeah, this is awesome. I am so glad to hear this, and congrats to you for being part of it. You deserve the seat at the table, and people need to hear the perspective that you bring. I'm so excited for you. This is awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm actually about to record like the intro copy after we're done here.
Sweet.
And I made a little it's a New York City apartment, so I can't sit in my closet and record, but I'm hanging a blanket over my closet door, and I'm going to talk into the clothing by way of having like a sort of audio, like an echo-proof part of the house.
My first home studio was, I moved my clothes. I have like a 1-bar closet. So I was facing the clothes, and I put all the blankets in the entire house stacked up behind me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm just doing the best I can here.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I think my podcast, I've sounded okay without doing all that, but obviously they're going to need to zhuzh it up a little bit more.
Yeah, well, when you're the most popular voice on the station, then they can book you some time at a fabulous podcast suite in New York.
That's right.
So, that's convenient to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they do have a big office in Midtown, so I'm sure there's like a studio there.
Yes.
But yeah, so also if there are any artists who are listening who are queer, you can find me on Instagram, Rainbow Rodeo Mag, and let me know about music because I can, basically suggest songs for them to add to the rotation. And from what I've heard from artists in the past, SiriusXM pays a very good rate. So yeah, for artists, especially compared to streaming. So, my hope is that I'm always helping to open those doors for other people. Mm-hmm. And so I don't really see my doing this as just for me, although of course it's very nice, but also to just keep, making the table a little bit bigger for everyone else.
Exactly. Oh man, this is fantastic news on a personal level, but on a bigger scale. This is a really big thing. I'm so glad to hear this. Wow. This is, I'm blown away that this is happening in such a great way. So, man, you've definitely had some high highs, and I know you've mentioned that you've had some really low lows. And I know for you that music is always part of what gets you through and gets you to, and all of that. Where have you been musically lately?
I think a little all over the place. So actually, a lot of the songs I'll be introducing here are from like basically the beginning of the year until now.
Oh, fun.
The stuff I haven't had a chance to like shout out.
Let's do it. Let's talk about it.
I haven't had a chance to be on the show. So I guess first we could start with some of the bad news. I wrote about this in the Rainbow Rodeo newsletter, but unfortunately one of my best friends passed away unexpectedly. And one of my first thoughts was, I don't even know what his favorite band was, because
right.
He listened to a lot of like video game and J-pop, and I think once I turned like 16, like I can't.
You're not an expert on this?
Those frequencies are no longer appealing.
The hologram artist, this isn't your thing?
Yes. So I'll talk about like Hololive, which maybe some of you might have heard about. I think it was popularized by a character. It's like a holographic anime character who performs songs. So sort of like in the way that the Gorillaz were like a cartoon band. Yes. But now it's like 3D.
So like I was saying, a friend of mine took their kids to see one of these performances fairly recently. And I had never heard of this before. And they said they were like, oh, I'm super not excited to be spending money to be going to do this. But they said that from a like performance experience sort of thing, it was actually way more interesting than they were expecting. But they were still like, and it's sort of like if you go to the laser light show and they play classic rock music in the background. It's just a different. It was sort of that analogy of the experience.
Exactly. It's like an M name.
Yeah.
And like when I was writing the newsletter, I had perfect recall of that.
I know that.
And now I just don't. Anyway, there was the one that kind of started it, and everyone was like, "What is this?" And I guess there are other characters to have followed, but I think he understood I would have teased him mercilessly if he had told me that he actively followed that
As
whole
I jokingly
thing.
say, we can have best friends even if they have terrible music taste.
Yes. So the first song I wanted to talk about is like maybe in the entire 25 years that we knew each other, the only song that I liked that he shared with me. And that is by an artist called VNV Nation. VN as in nickel, V Nation. And the song is called Airships from 2002. So I feel like I remember listening to it in middle school, but that would have been middle school going into freshman year for me. Sorry for everyone listening to this.
Well, no, like I'm listening. I listened to this one. I had never heard of this artist at all. And I was listening to it. And well, actually, first I read about the artist. Right. And I was like, I actually think I might like this based on the description. And because I like some electronic music and I like dance music and that sort of thing. And then I listened to it and I was like, I'm not sure what's happening here.
It's like a weird song. It's like 8 minutes long.
Yeah, I have no framework for how this fits in the world of music.
Yeah, I think in like 2002 to like a bunch of sheltered kids in New York City was like, whoa, this is amazing. But, you know, that was when he and like, so we had known each other in middle school and then we went to the same high school together. In the world of private schools, you're not just automatically all going to go to the same place.
Right.
Which I'm realizing, explaining to most people listening to this, like, well, why wouldn't you go to the same school? But,
interesting.
Yeah, it's New York. Yeah, it's New York City. Even if we weren't in private schools, you know, there's like a million high schools you could go to. So we've known each other for a very long time.
Yeah.
And the friends we made together in high school, they were all into like German culture, like KMFDM, like all this industrial stuff, like edgelords before they're edgelords.
Got it. This is totally, this makes perfect sense to me now. Okay.
Exactly. Never over the line in terms of like what teenage boys are doing today, but you know, kind of poking the bear.
Got it. Totally get it now. Got it. This suddenly this all makes sense.
Yes, and of course the Matrix had just come out, so KMFDM and Rammstein were like sort of more visible among a certain type of child who used the internet too much for their own good.
Yes.
I did listen to that stuff. I do still have like a Christmas album that one of our like mixtape that one of our friends made of industrial music. And I think there are some songs on there that are actually pretty. But I think the Airship song by VNB Nation stood out to me from this whole period of time because it's melodic.
Right.
And even like I'd not listened to the song at all until like just now to refresh my memory, but I kind of remembered it being very atmospheric, pyrrhic, and pleasant.
Yeah.
not trying to give me a migraine.
Right. I actually liked it. And I was kind of like, okay, I'm not sure that like this is going to be a new band for me, but this is something that expands what I even knew existed because I just wasn't familiar with this end of the spectrum at all.
Totally. And I think like there's like the storytelling aspect is probably also what stood out to me compared to other music that we would have shared with each other.
That makes sense. So we were talking a little bit before the official recording started, and we were talking about like how music and grief and how music helps us process. And this has been I was saying to you, this has been a recurring theme for like the last 3 or 4 episodes, and also in my personal life for several years. Where is that for you with this sudden loss of your best friend?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, because of all the good stuff happening, including some stuff happening in like my actual day job, like I haven't really had much time to listen to music in the last couple of weeks. So that's definitely been making me grumpy. I think like music definitely helps me like self-regulate.
That's a tool for me.
Yes, and as a social worker, like I do mean that in like the actual sense of the term.
Totally.
Yeah, so I think like just trying to think of any kind of music that would be comforting to me, but also like musical memories we would have shared, which leads into the next artist I do want to talk about because he just really wanted to hang out with his buddies and was kind of up for anything as long as we were like hanging out. So we went to a lot of Jeff Rosenstock shows because one of our other friends was really into that ska album that Jeff Rosenstock put out.
Yeah.
So we'd go to the shows and enjoy the opener, and then the crowds for Jeff Rosenstock's sets were like way too intense for us. Like we're in our late 30s now.
Right.
We can't be moshing like this.
Right.
But that was like a lot of hangout over the last couple of years. Or like I dragged him to the Johnson and Electric Company show in New York a couple weeks ago, and that was the last time we hung out in person.
Oh wow!
So I think like that was just fucking weird to look back and think about it now, because like the whole show was we miss our friends. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way.
No.
And a lot of Jason Molina's songs were about like wanting to die. So just like I realized that Farewell Transmission is probably the last song he heard live, by a live band, and like that's freaky. So it's also making me think about how I want to be spending my time. And like, if you're bored, you can just leave.
Right.
But he was a good sport about staying to the end for sure. Cause I think he was kind of not physically comfortable standing so long. But yeah, so I had said before we started recording, like, what are some songs that I could think of about like grieving for a friend? And it was like a Laura Jane Grace song and like a Frank Turner song that also has some specific memories tied to him. But like if I saw either of those two guys in the street right now, I would just like spit on their face. So it was sort of hard to like think of music I could listen to that would help me.
Yeah.
So, we're just getting through it. But I think there's also a lot of stuff that is taking on like new significance as a result. So like this Airship song is about like the wonder of like watching like an airship rise above like the city skyline for the first time, but it's also just about transcendence and like taking me with you, I think, is the refrain. So, feels a little different now.
Yeah, absolutely. When this came up in recent episodes, it's come up organically because this is just something that's been on my mind for a long time. But when I was talking with Lee Tasjan recently, he and Kim Richey wrote a song about the songs of your deceased, like your deceased loved ones, their favorite songs. And I was like, oh yeah. And I was telling him the story about driving along after my dad died and Lighter Shade of Pale came on. And I like had to pull my car over. It's like, I'm not like a huge Procol Harum fan, but that was one of my dad's top 3 favorite songs. And I was like, okay, pulling the car over, just going to sit on the side of the interstate crying. The depth of music when you do know that something connected to that person, or you have the shared experience of seeing shows together with that person, even if it wasn't the thing that spoke to them, it just brings a different connection that somehow, for me at least, I can't always process in the moment. The processing comes later when I reflect back on it, sometimes sometimes unwillingly. But yeah, I don't know. This is on my mind a lot.
Yeah, totally. And I think the interview you had helped me. I forget if I listened to that while this was all going on or right after. But, you know, just the idea of like, sometimes you're just going to want to cry in like the middle of the street, and that's just okay.
It's totally okay.
Yeah. And I've been having those moments.
The good news is nobody's going to bother you. Just keep.
Yeah, that too.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, I know. Yesterday I was at the subway stop where his parents live, and, you know, got emotional about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like also, you know, we can move on, but the thing that's been kind of like weird or interesting or all of the above is because he's a young man and because we've known each other for so long, like all these people who I grew up with in various settings, including some of our like middle school teachers who came to the viewing.
That's wild.
There are a lot of people who have been reaching out and checking in who I would not otherwise have talked to or didn't really talk to much. And it's been kind of like a beautiful thing to like get some of these people back together in the same room for the first time in decades, but also sad that this is what it took.
Totally. That's
call your friends.
Right. It's such a relatable feeling. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't want to harp on it too long, but also like, I think the thing for me with grief is that, you know, everyone talks about, the 5 stages of grief, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's all well and good on paper. But I literally remember sitting in my house and being like, okay, I'm ready for the next stage. I'm tired of this. But it doesn't work like that. It's more like you're at like the public wave pool and they just sort of throw different ones at you. And sometimes they hit you and sometimes you're fine for a really, really, really long time. And then you're like, what the hell? Why am I feeling this so strongly right now out of the blue? So I don't know. Yeah. I think that not always having a religious framework, that I'm talking about myself, for life and death and what are the process of that can be difficult. And I was at a funeral for a friend of mine who is quite religious Jewish. And she looked at me and we've been friends since we were in 8th grade. And she said, the helpful part about this is I know what we're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that speaks deeply to me right now. Like there's a process and it helps the living move through this, just move. Yeah. Like you, there are these things that you do. And I was like, that makes perfect sense to me. And so culturally, I understand where that expectation and ritual plays a role, whether you quote unquote believe any of it or not. I don't know. I reflect back on that I know what to do.
Exactly. And then, I think we were saying before the podcast, like you need to see the coffin go into the ground or the urn or anything, because you need to have that like visceral confirmation that the chapter was closed.
Totally.
Whatever that looks like for you all. Because I could see his mom like coming back to life afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but to move on to happier.
So on other news.
So in other news, I think, but like tangentially related, we were the kind of common area for music between like our other concert friend and me, and then, you know, by extension, him, was like, there are a lot of bands I'm seeing coming out, especially like the Midwest, North Carolina, that are like indie rock with sort of country and Americana influences.
Definitely.
So like we were all planning to go to the next Ratboys show together. Right. So I'm not going to suggest a Ratboys song at this moment, but we have been talking about them. A band in a similar vein, also a queer band called North Ingalls, Ingalls, which seems to be a street in, I think, Ann Arbor, where they're all living together. Similar vibe of like sort of indie rock influences, a little bit of twang. And the song I wanted to shout out is the title track of their album, To Be Loved Back. Having listened to the album a couple of times, like there's definitely things like, well, this is their first album, which is fine, right? Everyone has to start somewhere.
Totally.
But you can see where the bones are. And I'm so excited for them to keep going.
Yeah, and, you could have convinced me this band was from North Carolina just listening to the record.
Yeah, totally. And like they do some really cool stuff. Like as the album progresses, it kind of goes from like a nice like kind of jam band sort of vibe to like it's really like sort of sensual R&B at the end, and like it all just really fits together. And then because like stuff keeps coming up, I haven't been able to write about them in the way I've been wanting to. So I wanted to make sure I shouted them out on here.
The song specifically, the title track that you chose, has moments of the song that sound very much like a couple of other bands. So when you listen to the record, you can definitely hear like influences that maybe the next record will be more, they'll be the essence that helps them show themselves rather than maybe we want to make a so-and-so song. But it's very well done. And I would love to see them live because I would like to see how the arc goes.
Yeah.
And also there's like 4 or 5 of them in the band. Is that right? And I'm curious about instrumentation live because there's a mega horn section. But then I was reading a little bit about them and it looks like at least a couple of them play horns of some sort.
Yeah, it looks like from their website, they're all in various like music or conservatory programs.
Okay. That makes more sense because there's a lot of instrumentation and I wasn't able to find like full credits or anything. So I was trying to decide if they had like a bunch of buddies come in or what, but that would make more sense. And it also explains why they would have pretty broad influences coming in with all of them.
Right. And it seemed like it was sort of like a casual thing. And now they're just sharing it, which they should be doing.
Kind of how Lake Street Dive got started.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were in music school at a conservatory and they were literally like hanging out in their apartment/dorms, just doing whatever. And before they became what they are now. So, interesting. I like this. I'm excited to hear where they go. And the front person's voice is lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I feel bad. I think it's almost a year ago when I was like, I'm going to write about you, and then I haven't. But,
they were not on my radar at all, and which is unusual because they are definitely in my broader wheelhouse. So North Ingle is glad to like know about them, and I'll pay more attention to what they're doing. You always have artists where we have connected many years ago, and also newer ones as well. So what else have you been listening to, or what else have you wanted to chat about that we haven't had a chance to talk about lately?
Well, thank you for that segue, because next up, I wanted to talk about Micah Schnabel's recent album with his partner, Vanessa Jean Speckman.
Yay!
Which
this goes way back.
Yeah, exactly. The album is called The Great Degradation. And I know they recently released like an all-acoustic version of the album, but I haven't had a chance to listen to it. Yeah, I mean, I think this is the kind of thing where if you listen to the song and you like it, you'll like the rest of the album. But also, if you hate it, you will just not enjoy this album. It's like a very specific sound.
Yes. Okay.
I think like, so if you're not familiar, Micah was the lead singer of Two Cow Garage, which definitely one of my favorite bands. And I'm sure they have songs about dead friends that I need to go back.
I bet they have whole records about them.
Yeah, whole records. Yeah. I think like Micah has been very blunt and honest about a lot of the things he's grown up with as like a poor working class person in the Rust Belt. And how this shit like should not be romanticized like at all. And, he's still like struggling to make it, or even just have any kind of stability after decades of being in music. I would say that's the biggest theme on the album, and CIA very much gets into that, like being an artist and trying to stick true to your values, but how like if you don't have like CIA support like Jackson Pollock did, there's no way to like have that life without selling out in some way or another.
Yeah, Micah Schnabel and Two Cow Garage going all the way back to the days of like Couch by Couch West is probably how we connected many years ago, I would imagine. Well, certainly how I connected with Two Cow Garage. Both artists, both Vanessa Jean Speckman, who I typically think of as visual art, until there was that Call Me Rita, which I didn't even know about at the time. I found it because I was looking for something else and it popped up and I was like, wait, I thought Vanessa Jean Speckman was a visual artist and I didn't even know.
So like I think since the pandemic and since they were living with Frank Turner for a little while because they were touring with him and then everything was on lockdown, but I think that might be around the time when she started like exploring music more and setting like her poetry to music. And that's led to Call Me Rita, where she's fronting a band that's like a little more rock oriented than this album. But obviously it's all the same crew. So
Sure.
like,
Well, and that's what I find interesting about it is that, you know, if you like Two Cow Garage, you're going to like both of these other projects, but also you can very much see and hear the difference in who's guiding the ship on the different ones.
Yeah, definitely. And also like the sort of beat and spoken word influence that,
yes,
you know, Micah's been writing about for decades.
Very identifiable when you listen to it. You can tell exactly who this is. Like this couldn't possibly be any other artist. Yeah, I listened to the acoustic one, which is like Spindle or Bindle or something. Anyway, it's on Bandcamp. If you look up Micah Schnabel's stuff on Bandcamp, you'll find all of that stuff. It was interesting because what I've always liked about their work is there's always some sort of sing-along aspect somewhere in the performance. And I've mostly seen them live. And it's always the sort of thing where every single person there is 100% into it. I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone at a Two Cow Garage slash Micah Schnabel house show that wasn't just like completely enmeshed. Yeah.
I think the last time I saw them was like they played, Micah had a solo show like the day after Election Day in 2016. Wow. Two Cow was on indefinite hiatus. They were going to tour in 2020.
Right.
I don't know the story. I haven't really been checking Facebook, which is where he and Shane are most active. So I don't really know totally what's going on there. But they toured for like 15 years straight, and Shane has a kid.
Right, and life is hard.
You know, like, I don't think it has to be anything bigger than that. I would think there's more information there, but I know it's been a very long time since they've made it down to New York, but they've been in like upstate.
And a side note, I'm totally off Facebook now. And so like, it's as much as I wanted to be totally off of Facebook, I am super out of the loop on a lot of things because there are still many, many, many of my friends and acquaintances in music who really only interact there. And so while I don't miss providing the platform, my constant data, I do miss not getting that connection with people. And so I've felt really out of the loop. It's kind of weird.
I mean, I don't really use it at all. There's like a group for social workers in New York City, so I'll pop in there from time to time.
Right.
But like, pretty much the only time I used it was just to like try to get in touch with high school and middle school people with this news, and also because his dad was sort of posting updates while he was still in the hospital.
Yeah.
But But like, whatever, I have Instagram and WhatsApp on my phone. So
right. I do still have Instagram, which I am not great about using, but it exists. But that actually is how I know this other musician that you wanted to chat about. Just kept popping up in my feed from all different sources. In a good way.
Andrew, totally. Andrew he's been making music for a long time, but he hasn't really been recording it. And I imagine once again that like the pandemic kind of threw a lot of stuff off. He's been signed to Bloodshot Records for a while now, but I think as we know, around 2020-ish, a little bit after that, there was a lot of legal restructuring. And then the question of what would happen to the artists who were signed to the label. But he's still on the label. The label is definitely still pretty small. But this upcoming album, American Rough, which will be out by the time this episode is out, one of the best albums of the year. Not even like period.
Nice.
It's produced by H.C. McEntire from
North Carolina coming back.
Exactly. Mount Moriah. And her own incredible solo works. And the album itself still has that same kind of lush, immersive feel that like all of her records have. And like Andrew, when he first came on the scene, was like very slim, slender, pretty, like had like these nudie suits and was just always kind of like a crooner. And then I kind of like lost track of him for a little while. And now he's got like this big bushy mustache and like the stubble and has this kind of like leather daddy thing going. But like, while his voice is still like really like gorgeous, but it's a beautiful contrast.
Totally.
And not to harp on Grief too much, but he and Patrick Haggerty of Lavender Country were very close. And so this song Lavender Cowboy is about Patrick and is really beautiful. Yeah. But at the same time, like I listened to the record for the first time this week and it's just beautiful. Like there's this one song where he sings the word bong, like this like amazing, like crescendo of the song. And it's so gorgeous on the word bong. And like, that's kind of what we're getting. That's what it is, right? Just taking these little moments and finding like the beauty, the sublime beauty in everyday life. And this song about Patrick is again, also about grief. And the music video has a man who looks a lot like Patrick's partner, sort of like in shadow. And then another man who's sort of wearing the kind of outfit that Patrick wore before his last tour. And then, well, we'll get into that. And sort of making the same kind of like movements and gestures he did while he was dancing. So I actually can't really watch the video because it gives me a little bit of a panic attack.
That's wild.
It's like amazing. And I think Patrick would have been totally fine with that because he loves being in the spotlight. But it's just a beautiful video, beautiful song. And for those of you who are not familiar, Lavender Country is the first known like non-parody queer country album. And then the band was called Lavender Country. I always like to introduce the title track as Lavender Country by Lavender Country on the album Lavender Country.
That's right.
Yeah. But I noticed as Patrick was spending more and more time with younger people, he had been growing his hair out, wearing like more flowers. At his last tour, he had like this sort of outfit with like a hat with a flower in it and an overall, pair of overalls instead of like the whole cowboy stuff. So yeah, I don't know what that might have progressed into. But I think it was like a sort of beautiful connection with oneself.
Yeah.
So for Pride Month, I wanted to shout that out because I'll be writing the song out. Because in an essay I will be writing tomorrow for another project. I want to track like how this album, which is so like peaceful and serene, and Paisley Fields' latest album, Are You Mad at Me, which is just like so angry in like all the right ways. How they're both like, you know, honoring Patrick's legacy in different ways.
Yeah. Wow. Paisley, I love Paisley.
And that new album is also one of the best albums of the year.
Also a extremely musically talented person with a very recognizable vocal as well. You were mentioning something about the crescendo in the word bong on the other song from Andrew Sa. And there is also a slight bit of like the vibrato in this song in a good way, not in the like, not the singer, but like just enough to really give it some timbre. And I was just like, I don't know why this is so appealing to me in that specific tiny little phrasing. But just, I kept going back to that part of the song. It's just really engaging. And I'm glad to get to see that this full record will be available for everyone. I actually didn't know that H.C. McEntire was producing records until I read a little bit about this one. And turns out, like, call me Scoop, that's not new.
Yeah, I didn't know because, again, I'm also out of the loop. So if it's not in my inbox, and then I also changed my email address so that PR people can find me, you know, I'm not reading about it. So it's like, you 10 can send me music. Otherwise, that's it. Sorry.
I also let my former professional contact disappear on purpose. And yeah, it's been great not to be getting 10,000 terrible AI generated PR pitches every day.
Oh God, I hadn't even thought about that, but I'm sure that is happening.
They are so bad. They are so bad to the point where like, I want to contact the artists and say, stop giving this person your money. Like, don't do this. This is not benefiting you in any way.
Yeah, there have been a few times where like publicists have been out of pocket. I'm like, I wish the artist knew that you were doing this.
Right. Yeah. Do you know where your money is going? That's a whole separate issue that I'm sure both you and I could wax poetic about. Man, what else have you had going on, or what do you have coming up? I mean, it's like everything is coming up. The new channel on Sirius XM, and then you are a recurring writer for No Depression, and those pieces often are, if you're not super engaged in social media or with the No Depression outlet, they are very good about amplifying that through Instagram and acknowledging who their authors are, which is great because not every outlet does that.
Right.
And then the ramping up subscriptions with Rainbow Rodeo and telling us you're bringing back the podcast. I mean, like you have 8,000 things going on.
I know. I will also be watching a Kickstarter for the comic book I've been neglecting.
Hey, tell us about this. Wait, what?
Yeah. So I'm very slowly writing. It's going to be an 8-issue comic book series. So this is 4. Just like I wanted a creative project when I left teaching. Yeah. Because I suddenly had time to like be a person. So I started writing a comic book. It's just been very slow but steady. Once again, like the artist who has been working on it, Angela Boyle, has been very generous with the rate she is offering to do the art. And she's like a really cool creative character. She's been doing a lot of very cool projects, and it's been exciting over the years to watch like her career expand. The story is non-linear, so there's flashbacks, there's flash forwards. The idea was to like, how do you tell a story through the lens of a culture that does not view time in a linear fashion? And then the story itself is about a young woman who gets exiled from her tribe of pacifists. I read a lot of Redwall growing up because, you know, they have like these powers that are granted to them from their gods, but they're only supposed to be used in self-defense. But she was always kind of like anxious about proving herself and sort of insecure in that, wanting to be the best of the defenders. Yeah. And so she kind of goes a little nuts with it. So she gets exiled, and it's sort of about finding yourself again, and also like when you have that rejection, how it can still reverberate afterwards.
It's a different kind of superhero.
Yeah. And so every chapter so far is about her trying to like find her place and learning how to actually do that.
I am fascinated.
Not autobiographical at all or anything. Right. So I've had like an outline sort of planned out, and then I kind of just like don't really think about it. And then I have like 1 month where I like sit down and actually write the script. I like to do it during the high holidays for the Jewish New Year, because it's like kind of a reflective time anyway. But then also like, well, for a while I wasn't going to temple, but I would take the days off and like use that to go sit in a cafe and write. But now that I've found a group of people who sort of align with my values more than like a mainstream synagogue, shall we say, I will be attending more services. So I just need to like actually take real time off to work on it. But yeah, so Kickstarter for Chapter 4 should be running once you hear this.
I was going to say, how do we find that?
You can go to my social medias and I'll be promoting it. Yeah, there's no website yet. Because basically, again, I was just about to get the Kickstarter going, and then, life happened.
I'm tired just hearing everything you have going on in the next 2 weeks.
I'm tired too. I don't know like when to stop.
But it's also
also something I'm figuring out.
But yeah, that's part of it, is like, especially with like what is essentially like a gig life, and it's like when things are going, you got to keep them going. I mean, maybe you don't have to, but that's the feeling.
Yeah, to be honest, I was ready to like pack Rainbow Rodeo in, or at least try to figure out a way to do it like not daily. But I don't know what clicked. I think I just realized I could stop feeling guilty about what I wasn't doing and just focus what I was doing. That's what sort of like has brought me back to wanting to do it, because I do enjoy it. But, I think things in like my real life is how I think about it will start to be requiring more of me. And then I'll make those decisions when I get there. But for now, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Totally get that. Yeah. I had a creative passion project for many, many years that was very successful for a period of time. And I very happily rode that wave as long as I wanted to. And then one day I literally just woke up and was like, I am super burnt out and I don't know what I want this to look like. And that's hard when things went well. It's a lot easier when it was a disaster.
Yeah. And I mean, like, this is not how I put food on the table, and it never has been. So there's no like need for it to be successful or not. I could just stop doing it. Like, I didn't feel a thing once I stopped doing Adobe and teardrops. Right. So which is how I knew it was time. But I think I would feel guilty not doing Rainbow Rodeo. But on the other hand, if there's with Sirius XM and stuff like that, there are other opportunities to share the music with a bigger audience. So
exactly. And that may look different as time goes on, which is a good thing.
Yeah. And then the comic is like, if I can just get enough people to like meet the minimum goal for the Kickstarter, that's fine with me. Yeah. I haven't really been doing much to promote it or like send it out to comic shops or anything like that, because I don't even know where to begin with that. And the same with like the physical zine for Rainbow Rodeo. If a DM wasn't for storing it along with their t-shirts and fulfilling the orders when they fulfilled their merch orders, like I would have stopped. By that, I mean, I deem the artist.
I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's very generous of them to do that.
That's last call at Dive Bar Music Club. If you like the hang, follow the show, leave a review, and tell your algorithm, gosh darn it, we're worth it. Better yet, share your favorite episode with a friend who actually stayed for the whole set. See y'all next time for the low-key, high-taste happy hour for music nerds. Hey, y'all. Thanks for sliding in the booth with us here at Dive Bar Music Club. I'm Sloane Spencer, a former radio host and the creator of a ton of different podcasts over the years, including another brand new one that is completely different. It's the Gen X Sleep podcast, Sleep with Rockstars. Subscribe today at sleepwithrockstars.com or your favorite podcast app.